All right, enough gloating right now because we've got to talk some great softball here today. And when you take a look at that loss for UCLA yesterday, it was a pitcher's duel all the way, but it had that postseason feel.
Absolutely. How often do we get to see a good old-fashioned pitcher's duel nowadays? And that's exactly what we got yesterday. When it comes to those types of games, it comes down to who is going to break first. But let's go ahead and take you back to yesterday's matchup. In the 6th inning, UCLA had a 2-1 lead, and it's Rachel Lewis blasting this one deep over the center field wall to tie this ball game up. Ends up going into extras in the 8th inning, and UCLA's Kinsley Washington drives this one over the wall to give UCLA that 4-2 lead, but Northwestern was not done yet. Maeve Nelson, the hit heard round the world, blasting that one, a walk-off home run for the Northwestern upset victory.
And a big one for the Wildcats. Then we look at the Tigers here in this tournament, and they have had great success thus far. They're trying to remain perfect on the weekend, as we mentioned.
Auburn's really a program that's known historically for their dominant pitching, but it's truly been their hitting that has taken center stage. 7 home runs already in the first 3 games of this tournament. Specifically, I'm looking at that third win, of this tournament against number 9 Texas. Bree Ellis, a freshman, has been showing out for Auburn so far this season. And of course, it's going to come down to getting that solid pitching in the circle for Auburn as well. Shelby Lowe, she is their go-to. She is their ace. She's going to bring that ball in the mid-60s, likes to move it all throughout the strike zone. Great spin on her pitches, a lot of movement. So already UCLA is going to have to adjust to the different speeds that she's going to bring in there.
And just like we saw yesterday, a lefty in the circle and a number of lefty bats for the Bruins. 8 of the 9, in fact, are coming from that left side, including with the leadoff hitter today, Kinsley Washington, moving up to that leadoff spot, actually one shy of the cycle yesterday.
All she needed was that single, that base hit to complete it, but her success yesterday, I guarantee, is a big reason why she's in this leadoff position today. Shelby Lowe has a similar arsenal of pitches of what they saw out of Danielle Williams yesterday. Danielle Williams, a lefty changeup thrower for Northwestern, and you're going to see Shelby Lowe throw a steady dose of changeups today.
And this one into the outfield, and going back and then coming in, it drops in front. So Washington over at first base. We did see some wind, as we talked about the breeze a little bit. Maybe that affected it. But let's take another look at it here.
Well, it's a day late, but there's that single that she needed yesterday to complete the cycle. Just dropping in front of the diving glove of Carly McConaughey out there in left field. Didn't get all of this pitch, a little bit out in front, hits it off the end of the bat, but able to drop that one in front for a leadoff single.
Now the freshman, Savannah Pola, standing in. Pola, who was a highly ranked recruit coming out of high school. Some outlets had her as high as number 6. Bringing in a 6-game hitting streak as well after a wonderful opening weekend at the plate for the Bruins. And taking off is Washington to throw down to second, not in time. So Washington moving into scoring position with the stolen base.
Washington getting a really good jump on this pitch as well. Allows her to steal that base fairly easily. That throw not even close to being on time. It's interesting when you looked at the way that Aubrey Lisenby caught that ball. She ended up scooting way over towards that right-handed side of the batter's box, taking up a lot of time, allowing the speedy Washington to dive in there safely.
See the numbers for Pola thus far with runners in scoring position. 4 for 5, 7 RBI. The 1-2 from Lowe. Foul ball. Get another crack at it here. Lisenby, who you pointed out before the game, has had some good defensive efforts behind the plate. having that synergy with her pitcher, Shelby Lowe, incredibly important here. This one lifted and out of play.
Good at bat by Pola already. We're seeing her foul off a ton of pitches. We mentioned yesterday UCLA has a very lefty-heavy lineup, and going up against the left-handed pitcher in Lowe, those balls are going to have a tendency to tail away from the left-handed batter. So you really got to concentrate on keeping your barrel on top of it and driving it over to that left side of the field.
Goes up, chases, can't get to it. Shelby Lowe with her first strikeout of the game.
Just changing that eye level right there, bringing in this rise ball,
the right fielder,
tailing up and away from the left-handed
Jordan.
Pola up at the plate. Big time strikeout to get that momentum back onto Auburn's side after that leadoff single followed by the stolen base by Washington.
Lowe, who was the go-to pitcher that emerged last season for the Tigers, now facing off against Aaliyah Jordan. Jordan, like many in this UCLA lineup, all conference selections. And the senior wanting to produce the Bruins' first run on this Saturday.
Jordan had some really impressive at-bats yesterday going up against Danielle Williams. We've mentioned she liked to change speeds, but Aaliyah Jordan has that unique ability to change her swing path as the ball is on its way to her. So every once in a while she would get fooled on that off speed, but she's so strong, able to keep her hands back and still make solid contact with the ball.
That one low, Lisenby protects it. Well, Aaliyah Jordan, who is a doubles machine. Hearing the chants from the out. Yesterday, the Bruins
Fans, we'd like to
1 for
thank you
10.
very much for returning those foul balls to our
Runners
bench
in
staff.
scoring
Thanks.
position. Coming back for what is expected to be another exciting 2022 campaign. Making it all the way to OKC, one of 3 teams in this field to get to Hall of Fame Stadium.
You know, Tiffany, you mentioned UCLA really not able to get it done with runners in scoring position yesterday, and I feel like it's always a challenge for these coaches to try to prepare their players coming into season to be in those pressure types of situations. And UCLA tried a couple of different things in their practices preseason to get them prepared for those moments.
Waiting on that one, short hop, but running over to first base is Bree Ellis. And another Bruin retired, 2 down, as Washington now stands at third.
The next batter for Bruins,
You talk about the
third
pressure
baseman, number
moment, Shelby
97,
Lowe just putting
Delaney
pressure on
Wood.
these batters by staying around the strike zone. We've already seen a ton of foul balls, and the reason is because she's staying around and in that strike zone, forcing UCLA to have to swing early, to have to make adjustments on the pitches that she's bringing in there.
Delaney Wiz sees strike 1. And so throughout the game, that means, too, that the Tigers' defense has to be ready, has to be on their heels all the time.
Well, defense wins championships at the end of the day. You have to have your pitchers back because it can change the way that they approach batters and the way that they mentally focus on these at-bats if you're not able to make those routine plays behind them. You have a pitcher like Shelby Lowe that likes to work the ball both up and down in the zone. And if she doesn't have that confidence in her defense behind her to make the plays, she's not going to want to throw that ball down in the zone to induce the ground balls. But so far, Auburn doing a really nice job of being able to come up with those routine catches behind her and have her back.
She's ahead 0-2 to Wiz. And again, perhaps UCLA with a little advantage from yesterday. Another lefty who had a nice changeup. And Danielle Williams, one of the top pitchers in the country, but then also coming back with a little hard stuff. And we're seeing that here from Lowe as well.
And sometimes a great way to get confidence as a batter is just to go up there hacking. Take a chance, take a chance on swinging early in the count, that maybe the pitcher is going to make a mistake. We've seen them be very aggressive here in the top of the first inning, just trying to do something to make those runs come across, force a ball in play, and continue to put that pressure on Auburn early in this ball game.
The 1-2. And Wiz, the lone right-hander in the lineup, flies out to right. So runner left stranded, nothing doing. We'll move to bottom of the first.
St. Pete Clearwater Elite Invitational, presented by Wilson, is brought to you by Visit St. Pete Clearwater, Florida, and Wilson Fast Pitch, leaders in softball innovation.
Well, for Auburn, it's been home run fever to start this 2022 campaign.
Well, what a better way to start off a ball game than Michaela Packer coming up with that leadoff home run, and then Bree Ellis following it up with the moonshot and the bat flip just to cap it off.
There has been great production in this lineup. A question mark from last season about their hitting. They're answering that thus far. 15 home runs this season through 8 games. You see the comparison to last year, 22 overall.
7 of the 9 starters in this lineup already have a home run this season, so really showing off the power. But they've got their work cut out for them today, going up against UCLA's pitcher in the circle, Holly Azevedo. A ton of movement on her ball out there in the circle. Her best pitch is that off speed, that changeup, trying to keep these batters off balance. She's going to attack all parts of the zone, and she has a really effective drop ball as well, working on that kind of off-speed rise to change that eye level for these batters too.
So the sophomore Packer starts things off. She sees strike 1. She's had 2 home runs so far this weekend. Led the team in batting average, unscored, and stolen bases in that 2021 season. Packer was a part of Auburn's 16th NCAA appearance, going all the way to the Tallahassee Regional before completing their season. Of course, they faced off against an FSU team that ended up being national runners-up. And quite honestly, that's what's so special about this weekend. All but 2 teams made it to the postseason, and we'll get a chance to see Florida State a little bit later against Michigan.
There are many things that make softball truly special, and I think superstition is one of them. I know you got a little bit of a glimpse into how superstitious I am, even up here in the booth. But taking a look at Michaela Packer's batting glove, those things have holes all in them. And you know, it's only crazy if it doesn't work, right, when it comes to superstitions in the game. I'd imagine that those batting gloves have truly been working for her, so she's not changing anything. As we just saw, those power numbers for her really exploding this season, and those batting gloves are doing something right up there in the box.
The big hole there on that right part of the batting glove. Couldn't help her there as Azevedo registering the first strikeout of the day for the Bruins. And so we'll talk about superstition. We've seen all kinds of fun stuff that comes along with it. Don't worry, we'll circle back to that and your superstitions, by the way.
I guess I'm allowed to tell you my superstitions now that I'm not playing anymore. It's okay. It's okay. I can share.
We're an open book. Madison Shipman. Sydney Cox now at the plate for Auburn.
It's always fun getting an opportunity to talk to these coaches about how they've been preparing their teams for the season. And specifically when you're talking to Coach Mickey Dean about what he worked on with his team coming into this 2022 season, knowing they really struggled offensively last year. So it's no surprise that a focus was definitely the offense, but he said they didn't even pick up a ball for the entire first month of the fall because he wanted them to focus on their strength training, on their conditioning, try to get as strong as possible. And he said that sometimes it's really hard for athletes to recognize the impact that the weight room can have on your performance on the field. And so he came up with a couple of different ways for them to see that impact of all the hard work that they were doing in the weight room. And one of the ways they did that was by having these batters try to hit the ball out of the park off of a tee from home plate, which sounds easy, but it's truly not. You really have to generate a lot of power behind that swing. And he said now they're doing it so easily that they've made another challenge, and it's to hit the eagle on top of their scoreboard, which if you're not familiar with it, that is an absolute moonshot. So he said there's a lot of competition involved. Everybody's cheering on one another, but yes, the ultimate goal is to hit that eagle that is soaring over the Auburn Tigers field.
Yeah, Jane B. Moore Stadium. Oh, that's a fun challenge. I like that. Could you have done that at Sherry Parker Lee? Yeah.
Maybe at the end of my career, maybe.
As back-to-back strikeouts for Azevedo.
Azevedo just really attacking this strike zone. Great movement on her pitches. This one tailing inside to the left-handed Sydney Cox up at the plate. The very next pitch tailing away. Really tight spin. A great start for number 4 in the circle.
And they're going to need that if UCLA wants to make another deep push and try to get to their 7th straight Women's College World Series. And Kelly Perez said as much on our conversation with her. And she's a player who's waited her turn, but also has seen some contribution to the lineup, but she's asked to do a little bit more this time around as Nelia Peralta, the 3rd batter of the inning for the Tigers.
And I think the hitters and the technology and all the scouting that goes into the offensive side of the game has become so advanced that you need that deep pitching staff. You need several different arms that you can throw to these teams at any point. And so that's why somebody like a Holly Azevedo is so important for this UCLA squad, so that they don't just have to rely on Megan Faremo going down the stretch of season. And they're also 2 completely different looks. So you're forcing offenses to have to prepare for 2 different types of pitching when they come in to face you guys.
We saw Faremo yesterday, double-digit strikeouts, and really pitched well. And then towards the end, it was Northwestern that got the best of her. 2-1. Softball fans waking up for this 10 o'clock game Eastern from Clearwater, and that's how it's been for the first 2 days. Great crowds, great appreciation for these fantastic student athletes as Peralta aboard with a 2-out walk.
It's a good take right there by Peralta, watching that one just miss high and outside of the zone. Azevedo known for pounding the strike zone, attacking these batters, did a great job through the first 2 batters and just let that one slip away.
Bree Ellis, as you talked about, one of those players that's already gone yard this weekend, and the freshman out of Houston stands in and takes ball 1. One ball, no strike. And pulls it foul.
Auburn offense just continuing to be aggressive early in the counts, and we also know that that's an emphasis for this offense, talking to Coach Mickey Dean coming into this weekend, that they want to attack strikes early. They don't want to constantly be having to fight from behind, fighting from that 2-strike count, so they're going to try to go out there and get that early pitch.
Waiting for that one, popped up, skying into center field, and Maya Brady drops that one. The wind probably got a hold of it, the play at the plate, and she's out. So what a recovery by Maya Brady. What a way to end the first inning between UCLA and Auburn. Still scoreless as we move to the top of the second, but let's show you how that last half inning ended after Bree Ellis pushed that one into center field.
This ball went so high up in the air. You can see Maya Brady tracking it, just not able to come up with it, but she doesn't give up on the play. She picks that ball up barehanded, fires it to her catcher, Alyssa Garcia, who's able to apply the tag. And when I was watching this in real time, I thought that Peralta was going to score easily. When there's 2 outs, ball hit up in the air, you are sprinting as hard as you possibly can until your coach stops you. And I'm wondering if maybe she hesitated over at third base, thinking that ball was going to be routinely caught, and because of that gets thrown out at home plate. But a nice recovery by Maya Brady out there in center field. And that was another point of emphasis for UCLA coming into this weekend too, was they wanted to pick it up on the defense, specifically how they respond when something doesn't go their way. And that's a prime example shown by the center fielder.
She was back in the dugout replaying it, and she's on the on-deck circle. Bree Perez leading it off here for the Bruins. Perez over to Denver Bryan, and Bryan, who kind of shoved it off, was able to recover herself and put the 4-3 put out.
One recovery to the next. Denver Bryan keeping this one in front, and you're exactly right, pulls her head off of it, which pulls her glove up, but somehow that ball tips it, keeps it in front of her, scoots on over with the bare hand side flip, able to get the speedy Perez for out number 1.
Low to Brady, strike 1. Maya Brady, the sophomore. And she's down the count. No balls and 2 strikes as Shelby Lowe working ahead here. Looks to the wrist guard and gets set for the pitch. Carter looking on the outside corner. Strikeout number 2 for Shelby Lowe. Well, we've got a wonderful women's basketball matchup for you Sunday afternoon between 2 top teams in the SEC. It's number 1 South Carolina hosting 12th ranked the Tennessee Lady Vols. That's Sunday at 1 o'clock over on ABC. Also, you can catch it on the ESPN app. College Game Day going to Columbia for the first time since 2011.
Lady Vols looking to bounce back after that loss to Alabama.
We'll see the progress of Jordan Horston, who was exiting from the game with a sling. Alyssa Garcia, who applied that tag to end the last inning. Now at the plate, 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Good command and confidence early on from Shelby Lowe. Preseason All-SEC selection. And gets back-to-back strikeouts. Shelby Lowe getting it in right now.
Shelby Lowe showing that confidence, that poise that she has out there in the pitcher's circle, taking this curveball, dealing it away from the lefties. She's already got 3 on the day.
We'll bring you up to speed on our upcoming schedule, brought to you by Wilson. Here's an update. Okay, look, Notre Dame and number 22, LSU, currently in action. Coming up At 11, top of the hour, it's Northwestern and Clemson. Great matchup on the ACC network with Michigan and 6th ranked Florida State, who's looked really good, and Texas in action twice as they'll face off against UCLA and then UCF. And look, we have enjoyed seeing all the little girls, the young faces, the softball fans that have converged on the St. Pete Clearwater area to take in this invitational, this tournament that is now in its 3rd year. And you can tell folks really missed it.
No,
right?
the energy, again, from day one has just been unreal. And you got to love to see all these young girls out here watching their role models, their idols play and compete out here on the field. So many young softball players out there across the nation. And what a better opportunity than to come here to St. Pete Clearwater at the Elite Invitational presented by Wilson to watch their favorites so close in action, too.
And there is this I can touch you, I can see you, I can be you kind of feel, as it's a very intimate setting, even though it's pretty spread out over a number of different fields. As Aubrey Lisenby grounds over to 3rd base, and Wiz is able to retire.
I almost feel like there's a resurgence in excitement for softball after the Olympics this summer as well. So many legendary players that played for that Olympic team, several coming from this UCLA program. Recent graduates, Rachel Garcia and Bubba Nichols, a part of that silver medal Olympic team.
And really preparing for the future of what's to come, because we could very well see more of these young ladies of club teams, as you saw just there. USA softball has gotten the excitement. Obviously, it'll be removed, but we got to see it every 4 years in the summer games. Lindsey Garcia sees a ball. No strikes in this one. High into center field. Maya Brady going back to the fence. It goes off of the fence and maybe her glove. Trying to go for 3, slides in, and she's safe. Lindsey Garcia is pumped up. Mickey Dean is, along with the Tigers dugout.
This aggressive offensive mindset that Auburn has. Garcia just explodes on this ball over to center field. Maya Brady tracking that thing all the way to the fence. Hits off of her glove, bounces down again. That response, immediately gets up, fires it over to 3rd. Coming out of the box, Garcia thought that thing was gone. Took a couple of jogging steps and then really turned it into gear to get all the way over to 3rd for that triple. You could just see her teammates coming out of the dugout. They're fired up. She's fired up. This offense for Auburn just continues to impress.
Right now, they're taking really good hacks at the plate. Jesse Blaine, the DP, who is another freshman in this Tiger lineup. Talk about USA experience. She's got some. The U17 national team. Pulls that one foul. Well, really, Mickey Dean made it pretty simple. You talked about his philosophy coming in and trying to hit off the tee. He said, you know, when we see strikes, we're a really, really good team. Just that simple. And they've been swinging away at them. The 0-2 to Blaine, and Azevedo catching her swinging. She goes down.
That's a big pitch right there. Taking a little bit off of it. This is that changeup working away from the right-handed Blaine. Taking advantage of that aggressiveness that she's seeing out of these batters. Got her way out in front of it. That's a big-time second out.
That changeup came in at 53 miles per hour. We've seen Azevedo kind of dance around the mid-60s. So that 10-mile-per-hour differential got Blaine. Here's Denver Bryant, the second baseman. And then coming back with something a little bit harder.
Well, see, it's all it takes is just that one pitch to be able to throw that changeup in there for a strike once. Now all of a sudden it gets into the back of the mind of the hitters, and you can see Denver Bryant just a little bit behind on that swing.
Azevedo, low for ball one. See how she comes back. Work the zones here. The pitch on the way. And that foul ball got Denver Bryant in the foot, and she'll take her time getting up. And she's favoring that lower right leg around the foot.
Yeah, those foul balls off the foot definitely sting. And that's a result of that downward movement, that downward spin that Azevedo has on her pitches. You can see how she gets the top of that ball, and it bounces, hits the ground, and then right up, gets that shin.
Yeah.
You know that doesn't feel good, but she looks to be okay.
Gathers herself, tries to shake it off, and steps back in.
Now as a pitcher, I feel like I go right back to that same spot, knowing that she's a bit tender on that back leg.
Stays moving it off the plate just a little. Azevedo, you can see her shaking some things off, trying to get what she wants.
But I like that communication, too, that you're seeing, the leadership that you're seeing out of Holly Azevedo in the circle, taking ownership of the pitch that she's going to throw. She feels really good about one specific pitch, has an idea in her mind of how she wants to attack Denver Bryant, and she's going to go for it.
Tried to get her chasing. Does she go around? Yes, says the first base umpire. So a couple of strikeouts once again coming in handy for Holly Azevedo. And getting out of the inning are the Bruins.
Azevedo busting out this changeup here in the second inning. She's got 4 strikeouts on the day.
Are you looking for the best coverage in college softball? D1 softball is the leading source for everything Division I.
If someone comes along and stands in your way, then we know just what to say. Do your thing, just do your thing. So do your thing. Do your thing, just do your thing. So do your thing.
UCLA, FSU coming your way Sunday at 7, but right now we've got a couple of more games in action. Tennessee taking on UCF. Lady Vols with a 1-0 lead over on one of the other fields, and then also there's Notre Dame and LSU currently in action on the SEC network. All 40 games throughout the weekend on our ESPN networks. And currently, we've got a pitcher's duel through 2 innings. Both Lowe and Azevedo have given up a hit each. However, they're not willing to concede the first run. The junior Anna Vines now with a 1-2 count. Both pitchers doing a great job. Obviously, we knew Megan Farema, we knew Danielle Williams for yesterday, but everyone's gotten to know Shelby Lowe from a season ago, and certainly you talk UCLA, you've become familiar with Holly Azevedo, but they're stepping up even grander on this stage as Shelby Lowe ended the inning with 2 strikeouts. She's got another, 3 in a row, 4 on the day.
Several different pitches make Shelby Lowe so difficult to hit, and this one coming up and into those left-handed batters, not something they're used to seeing, specifically coming from those left-handed pitchers. They anticipate that that pitch is going to continue to break away from them, and that one riding high and tight on the hands of those lefty batters. So difficult to get that barrel to.
And this one lines softly to short. And Peralta handles it, 2 down.
Next batter for the Bruins, number 37.
Back to the top of the
Washington.
order, and the only hit for the Bruins today coming off the bat of Kinsley Washington.
See here taking a look at the defense to see where they line up, playing her, knowing her versatility up at the plate, tons of speed. We already saw her drop that ball out into left field in her last at bat. Somebody who has such great hands up at the plate, able to adjust to the pitch as it's on its way to her.
When close, but not, and you've said that before, you said it of Aaliyah Jordan being able to make that adjustment, and you credit Kirk Walker, who works with the hitters, to be able to make those changes in real time.
And I think a lot of times hitters get so stuck in wanting their swing to look pretty, wanting everything to be mechanically sound. And sometimes when you get into the game, you're facing a top elite pitcher like a Shelby Lowe. And you just got to do whatever you can to make solid contact, get that barrel on the ball. And it's not always pretty, but learning in practice how to adjust to those different types of speeds, different movements and spins that you're going to see in the ball game is truly what takes a good hitter to becoming a great hitter.
Lowe wanted that one, so did Lisenby behind the plate, and the Tigers fans were trying to encourage Blue, but it's now 2 balls and 2 strikes to Washington.
Ooh, that one, a tough one to take. It looked like it clipped just that corner of the strike zone, but home plate umpire says, nope, that one's ball 2.
So Washington working the count back full after Lowe got ahead. Washington hits that one into center field. Michaela Packer is there, and back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings for Shelby Lowe and the Tigers.
Well, we talked a lot about Auburn's offense, and they continue to be aggressive in this ball game, driving balls out to the grass. They've had some opportunities to score, taking advantage of a ball out there, not able to score though, coming all the way in. It's that timely hit that they still need, blasting a ball all the way out to center field, hits off of the wall, bounces around, able to scoot safely into third base, but then it's back-to-back strikeouts. Auburn really having to shore up those unproductive outs that they're seeing up at the plate, specifically with runners in scoring position. When you get that runner over at third base with less than 2 outs, so many ways that you can score that run, whether it be by the squeeze, a sacrifice fly to the outfield. But when you've got somebody like Holly Azevedo out there, changing things up, mixing in those speeds, you got to do whatever you can to get that bat on ball.
Yeah, she's been working up and down, and Karen Johns, a wonderful softball mind right beside me. We're saying, look, there's been a drop, there's been a rise, and there's been a change to record those strikeouts for Azevedo. The 9-hole hitter, Carly McConaughey, swinging through for strike 2. Azevedo sees that one. Lifted into center field, and what a web gem from Maya Brady. A great diving grab.
Maya Brady has been so busy out there in center field through the early part of this ball game, getting a great jump on this one. You can see how she was shifted over towards the left side of the field, showing off that speed, watching that thing all the way in. That's big time out, having her pitchers back out there in center field.
Excellent effort from Brady, and first team all Pac-12 selection. Certainly, she's awake out there. If you had a question, if she was ready to get going, Auburn has made sure that she is alive and well out there. But this group who got here before 8 o'clock for today's game, they're sharpening as they go. Back to the top with Michaela Packer. Packer, who, if she's able to get on base, also has excellent speed. A track athlete as well in high school. Packer waiting on that change of speed, fouls it off.
Packer is a hitter who, since she stepped foot on the Auburn campus, has always had that explosive bat. And for her last year was just a matter of her being indecisive at times in her at-bats and kind of losing a little bit of that confidence, but she's truly come into this season with a completely different mindset up at the plate, very aggressive, very confident in the swings that she's taken up there.
And gets her looking right down the pipe. Great pitch there from Azevedo.
And what a way to combat that confidence that you see in a hitter than just to attack the strike zone, go right at him. This one up and underneath the hands of the right-handed Packer, gets her frozen, rings her up for her 5th strikeout on the day.
Packer's just got to let it go. Sydney Cox, who struck out her first time up. Back for round 2. This Auburn team, who was picked to finish 11th in the conference by lead coaches. They've shown some good fight and put together some quality wins here in the week 2 of the college softball season.
Not missing by much on the inside part of the plate. You could hear the crowd's reaction as that umpire called that one a ball.
I'm not even sure how to describe all that is there right now. Cups, visors, and some neon green. It's not happening. How would you describe it?
You know, I want to know who comes up with all of that. Who looks around the dugout and says, you know what, that would make a great hat. A great, if we can call it a hat, a little headwear,
I mean,
guess.
it's a homemade hat, you know.
Creative.
It's something. Great pitch there by Azevedo, again freezing back-to-back batters. Half a dozen strikeouts on the game. We're still with goose eggs on the board. Saturday stuffing of softball here on ESPN. Tonight you'll see Florida State at 9th-ranked Duke, but that's just the first of 3 because Kansas and West Virginia in action at 8, and then the West Coast primetime game is Arizona, 3rd-ranked Wildcats hosting Oregon. tonight at 10. You can also catch it on the ESPN app. Talking about catching things, let's catch on to what's happening on some of the other fields right now. Adjacent to us, Notre Dame with a 3-0 advantage over LSU. Meanwhile, Wave Ball still holding tight to a 1-0 lead, even though that game, along with LSU, just still in the first inning.
Aaron Edmondson for Tennessee back out there in the circle. Went deep into that ball game last night against Clemson, 9 innings, and ultimately it was Clemson that came out with the win after a couple of defensive miscues for Tennessee.
Savannah Polo, one of Shelby Lowe's strikeout victims in this one. A lot of excitement around this freshman coming in. For Kelly I and the staff, feeling like Polo can do some really good things.
And Coach said she might be shorter in stature, but she packs a big punch up at the plate. Super excited about her abilities that she showed throughout the fall and on into this season. Coach said she just really knows her softball, a really high softball IQ, not something that's easily taught.
Now you talk about that punch here. She's trying to pack it deep into right field, and certainly I think Lindsey Garcia is glad to grab that one as get you up on what's been happening around through the first 2 days. The Tigers doing exceptionally well, both Auburn and Clemson. As you mentioned, Kelly Maxwell had a no-no going into the 7th before Michigan was able to break through and get a hit. And how about Washington, who's just been crushing the ball?
Left and right, that team just sprays the ball all over the field, and it seems like 1 through 9, they make consistently hard contact no matter what pitcher they're going up against.
Yeah, Heather Tarr, who is always leading the charge for Mighty Are the Women. And Jordan lines this one opposite field to the fence. And again, closing in on the all-time career doubles leader. She's 6 away, the second one of the tournament.
You could feel the energy in the UCLA dugout really pick up after Pola hit that fly ball out to right field. Aaliyah Jordan coming up, being aggressive, smacking this one opposite field all the way to that left field wall, able to skate into second base easily. Look at how quick and explosive her swing is. Her hands are so quiet, they go straight to that ball. Line drive action all day over there to left field.
Aaliyah Jordan standing on second. And Delaney Wiz now at the plate.
Pinch running for the Bruins, number 94, Lauren Carter.
And a pinch runner coming in for Jordan. Number 94, Lauren Carter. And we didn't call her by name then, but we did get a chance to get a glimpse of her in the dugout. She had that, again, very creatively put together headpiece.
I don't think the cuffs are going to fit underneath the helmet. But obviously she had something cooking over there in the dugout, because this UCLA offense has just had a surge of energy here in the top of the 4th inning.
You talk about the chances that Auburn had to try to get a run against UCLA. They're threatening here with 1 out, and Carter is hoping that she can score the first run of the ball game. The pitch from low, and Wiz seeing the ball well also. Here's Lauren Carter rounding third base, and the Bruins on the board. The RBI single from Delaney Wiz. And the hat worked for Carter.
It's only crazy if it doesn't work, right? Delaney Wiz going after this rise ball. After we saw her kind of check swing earlier on in her at bat, she sits back, regroups, recovers, and drives this ball out into center field. And a great jump by Carter over at second base as well. No hesitation coming around third. And a graceful slide to home to put the first run across.
That was made possible by the Aaliyah Jordan double, and then Carter wanting to, dirty up that uniform, letting her know, everybody know that she did a little something, something. Now at the plate, Bree Perez. Perez fouls that one off. The Perez sisters have long been around this UCLA program. Older sister Kylie was a part of this Bruin team since graduated, and now with an undergraduate degree of her own, Bree Perez, fifth-year senior, currently working on her master's. We often talk about the athlete, but we also love to highlight the student part of it. Bree, an excellent student and unmatched leader on this team, according to her coach.
It's great to hear from all these coaches what types of athletes they're going to be putting out there on the field, but you almost sense this other bit of pride from the coaches just in how great of students all of these players are. Something that they definitely prioritize in both the programs that we're seeing out here on the field today. That education so important to these young ladies.
Perez sending this one into the opposite field. The Packers' speed couldn't catch up to it. It's on the warning track. One run coming in. That's Delaney Wiz. So 2-0. UCLA breaking through in this fourth inning.
The Bruins really just spraying that left side of the field. Perez getting a good piece of this one. You can see just how crowded she was on that chalk line, trying to take away that outside part of the strike zone. That ball lands just past the glove of Michaela Packer over there in center field. And Delaney Wiz making sure that ball dropped and able to score easily to tack on another run for UCLA.
So all good swings from the Bruins, and Mickey Dean says it's time to make a change in the circle. We'll come back with more information on who will be throwing for Auburn. Former Red Raider head coach Chris Beard and number 20, Texas, going up against his former team, Texas Tech, at the Irwin Center. Our coverage starts at 12:30 Eastern on ABC and the ESPN app. With Maddie Pinta gets the ball, sophomore to sophomore out of Chesapeake City, Maryland.
Maddie Penta going to be a completely different look than what we saw out of Shelby Lowe. Of course, Penta coming from that right side. She's going to bring the heat, throws the ball in the high 60s, and she's got that true fastball that she can work in all quadrants of the strike zone. Working on developing that rise ball and an off speed, but primarily what you're going to see out of her is that high velocity. She's going to bring the heat.
And she is spelling Shelby Lowe, who put together a nice few innings, 3 1/3, 4 hits given up. Many of them here in this inning, and those 2 runs, of course, 4 strikeouts in total for Shelby Lowe. Now she's going to cheer on Pinta in the circle, and the first batter she will face is Maya Brady. That one coming in high and tight. Whoop, watch out.
It's important to remember, too, that UCLA still has speed over there on third base, Brianna Perez, which really opens up a ton of options for Maya Brady to bring in another insurance run across the board.
Hitting the top of the zone at 67 miles per hour, and strike 1. Lisenby dug that one out.
Our first look at that off speed that Maddie Penta has really been working on. Her higher velocity pitches can become even more effective when you have that significant change of speeds.
Brady sends that one far and foul. Brady's got great power, of course, a really fun player to watch. And the 2-2 pitch from Penta is fouled away.
Solid first at bat by Maya Brady going up against Penta. You can see her shaking her head, really getting in the zone in that batter's box. She's fouled off an off-speed pitch, fouled off some of those higher velocity pitches as well. Just trying to find something that she can get good barrel on.
And Brady guns that one right back up the middle. And easily another run scoring, the RBI single for Maya Brady. So the last 4 batters in this UCLA lineup have gotten aboard, and it was Aaliyah Jordan who started it all.
As a batter, when you're facing a new pitcher, you want to try to take away their best pitch as quickly as possible, and that's exactly what Maya Brady did in that at-bat, smoking that fastball coming in there, 66, 67 miles per hour, peppering that one right back up the middle to score another run.
Swing and a miss at 69 miles per hour coming in to the catcher, Alyssa Garcia. Right now, UCLA bringing the energy, held scoreless through 3 innings. And then just finding a rhythm and a groove here in the top of the 4th. Only 1 out, and the hit and run may have been on as Brady took off, and she'll slide back to first base as Sydney Cox catches that one for the 2nd out.
Maya Brady sure has gotten her steps in, both up at the plate and out in the outfield so far today. A big smile on her face. A heads-up defensive play by Sydney Cox as well, going back, securing that one, and immediately firing it over to first base to try to get that double play. Maya Brady just barely able to make it back to the base safely.
Anna Vines, who yesterday hit a shot right back at you that knocked off the glove of Danielle Williams for Northwestern. Ball and a strike to the junior Vines. She's working through some different injuries this season. But in this 2nd weekend of play, looking to get stronger and better. Here's Brady taking off Lisenby, the throw to second base, and not even near. So Brady in safely.
Brady just raising that step count yet again. Getting a good read on the off speed out of the hand of Maddie Penta, took off and moved her way on into scoring position for Vines.
Three balls and a strike to Vines. And it's ball 4. Quick update for you between Notre Dame and LSU, and the Tigers, who split yesterday, sees Allie Newman send this one flying with the bases jacked. A grand slam to cap off a 5-run first inning for the 22nd ranked LSU Tigers. It's an interesting one. Taking on the Fighting Irish, who've been fighting here this weekend. Mickey Dean in the circle, having a quick conversation with Pinta specifically, but the infield all in.
Looks like he might just be coming out there to have a conversation with Pinta, kind of see what's going on. Try to get a feel for his defense and really just settle her down. We talk a lot about how much experience that this pitching staff for Auburn has, but they still are very young. Shelby Lowe and Maddie Pinta, both sophomores, gaining a ton of experience last year and going up against the third-ranked UCLA today, who have just been able to make adjustments as we get later on into this ball game. And the way to combat those adjustments is to have a bunch of different pitches in your arsenal, so you can see exactly why Mickey Dean's trying to grow that.
Laying down the bunt is Kelly Gooden, not expecting it, the Tigers defense. And the bases loaded for the Bruins. So Kelly Gooden using that great speed. And hey, we're not done yet. We go right back to field 9. And Abby Sweet, who came in with all kinds of honors in the ACC, answering right back for her Fighting Irish after that solo shot.
This game is so much about how you respond to adversity, and how about that, the leader for that Notre Dame squad, Abby Sweet, the leadoff batter, just smoking that one over the left field wall.
And Kinsley Washington, who led this ball game off with a single for UCLA, back at the plate. 10 RBI on the season for Washington. Pinta gets that one in there for a strike, but you see this UCLA team that seems to be really loose, and they had to shake off yesterday's finish against Northwestern to get ready for today, and they're coming back answering.
Well, and even going further back than that, UCLA was coming into this tournament trying to bounce back from that 4-1 loss to Oklahoma coming into this weekend, so they had a lot of time to think about it. Came out against Northwestern, a very tough pitcher in Danielle Williams, and ultimately Northwestern gets that big walk-off win. So for them, it's all about moving on, forgetting about what happened yesterday, and just attacking the opponent on the field today.
And this one lined right into the glove of Peralta at short, so UCLA put up 3 runs in the top of the 4th. We'll talk to their head coach, Kelly High, when we come back. Third-ranked UCLA put up a 3 spot in the top of the inning, and we're joined by their head coach, Kelly Perez. And Coach, obviously the bat's coming alive, but what do you think about this pitching performance thus far from Holly Azevedo?
Yeah, you know, I think that was something I was probably looking forward to most in this season, was really being able to have Holly get the ball. You know, she's been a great team player, you know, in her first 4 years, and it's a year for her to be able to go out with a bang as a senior. So I love how she's pounding the zone, and she's coming up with some nasty pitches.
And Coach, coming into this weekend, you talked about how impressed you were with Savannah Pola, and she really seemed to spark your offense back in the 4th inning. What has she brought to your hitting?
You know, I just love that she loves to play the game. She has quality at bats, right? She's up there. You can tell she's ready to swing. She swings with authority in that little body. But I think there's a natural tendency to just want to put the ball in play and hit it hard. And I love that. I love her aggressive style of play.
All right, thank you, Coach. We appreciate the time.
Absolutely.
That UCLA batting order, first time around. Just 1 hit coming off of Kinsley Washington, but 4 strikeouts. Second time, though, that's the charm in this instance, because 5 of 8 at the plate for UCLA against Auburn pitching. Doing a great job, and Holly Azevedo has really helped to anchor them in the circle. Great first pitch off speed from the fifth-year senior. Nelia Peralta was aboard safely back in that first inning with a walk. The only one given up by Azevedo. This one into the gap in right center, and going to give chase is Lauren Carter, who stays in the ball game in right field, and Nelia Peralta saying, let's get fired up to her teammates.
I really like this aggressive swing by Peralta here. She watches the changeup go by in the first pitch of this at-bat, knows that pitchers don't necessarily like to throw back-to-back, so she goes up there attacking the fast pitch, driving this one out into the right center gap to really get some energy going in that Auburn dugout.
We talked about just the youth movement for this group. 16 total freshmen and sophomore for Auburn. Youngest roster in the Southeastern Conference. Bree Ellis is another one. First time around on the Plains. Good cut. Ellis couldn't get it. Ball in one strike. The Tigers have had their chances against Acevedo already in this game. Haven't been able to push anything across in this one. Watch out, Aubrey Lisenby.
Wow, that was some quick feet over there on deck. Coming hot off the bat of Bree Ellis, turning on that pitch. Lucky that one hit her. Good thing she was paying attention, able to move out of the way of that one.
Has always got to be on a swivel. And on deck circle. The 1-2 pitch. And Azevedo gets Bree Ellis swinging. 7 Ks today for Azevedo.
Just the response. This ball moving down in the zone after giving up that leadoff double to Peralta, settles back in, gets ahead in the count, and working that drop ball down and inside to Bree Ellis. Gets her swinging.
We heard our coach come in, talk about how she's been preparing for this season. It's been a long process in terms of really getting a greater role. She started off the year with a no-hitter to open the season. First to do it since Allie Carter. And now she's trying to keep the Tigers scoreless as Lisenby moves the runner over to third base, but now 2 outs.
And again, Auburn with an opportunity to put runs on the board, but just have not been able to come up with that timely hit that they need to bring them across. Looks like home plate umpire took the ball on that one. Sometimes when it hits off of the end of the bat, it can kind of scuff up the ball a bit.
Well, she's been backed up by her defense. You go back to that first inning, Maya Brady made an error out in center field, recovered very quickly to throw the runner out at home. Lindsey Garcia has tripled, which is just one of 2 hits given up by Azevedo. But not able to capitalize when they've had their chances. Check swing, foul ball. Garcia on the season has done a great job in terms of bringing home runs. Bringing home runners, rather, when somebody's on base. And in scoring position, the 1-1. Now 1-2.
Another thing I really liked out of watching Azevedo throw today is that she doesn't stay in the same spot too many pitches in a row. She is constantly moving the ball up, moving the ball down, changing speeds. You can tell at times it's making these Auburn hitters uncomfortable in the box because they never know what's coming next. And, you know, talking to Coach Mickey Dean, he likes his hitters to have almost a pitcher's mindset when they step into the box to go up against these pitchers. And because she's constantly changing her game plan, it's hard for them to really settle in up there.
And you said it earlier, Madison, the different looks that UCLA gives you in the circle, because you compare that to Megan Faremo, who's just going to try to overpower you. A big-time power pitcher. Azevedo changes things up. And does she go around? Yes, home plate umpire says. So a runner left stranded after the leadoff double by Peralta. Working real good right now is Azevedo. Welcome back to the 2022 St. Pete Clearwater Elite Invitational, presented by Wilson from the Eddie Seymour Softball Complex. And certainly the bats got popping in that fourth inning for the Bruins.
Leading off for the Bruins, number 5.
It was all just a matter of them being able to make adjustments off of Shelby Lowe in the circle. And honestly, I think it came down to the one at-bat by Savannah Pola back in that fourth inning to really spark the rest of the offense.
And this one is a fair ball, nearly taking out the third baseman. And you talked about the power that Pola packs. You heard her coach talk about it, and there it was, right there.
Well, and she's able to hit it to all fields. We saw in her last at-bat pulling the ball to the right side. This one just peppered straight down that left field line, even lands right on the chalk line down left field. Able to scoot safely over into second base for a leadoff double.
And that's why they are so excited about the future of Savannah Pola. Leah Jordan. It's like,
ooh, it just barely, you can kind of see some of that chalk come up. That was close.
I mean, it literally kissed just like a centimeter of the chalk line. And Aaliyah Jordan sends this one into left field, or center field, excuse me, and tagging up and going to third base is Savannah Pola.
Doing it on the base paths too. Aaliyah Jordan with another solid swing up at the plate, noticing that Michaela Packer in center field is having to go all the way back to the fence to catch that ball. Takes that opportunity to move on over to third base to get that much closer to scoring.
Okay, did you see Aaliyah Jordan just go into the dugout, come right back out, and then flip something over to Delaney Wiz? A piece of gum, we're being told, putting it in the back pocket. A part of those superstitions, or keep the good vibes mojo going?
I was going to say, whatever motivates the team to pass the bat along, you go ahead and do it. And the skill involved to be able to catch that gum. I mean, they were ready for it.
They were, but like, it's a small piece of gum. I don't know, like back in the day it was like Bazooka or like Bubblicious or something like that. I don't know what it is now, but. So while we have time, quick superstition from you while you were a player?
When I was a player, every single time I'd run out on defense, I would outline second base with my foot. Don't know where that started, but I would go around all 4 sides of second base every time I was running out to play shortstop. And hey, it worked out.
I'd say so. 3-time All-American at Tennessee. Yeah.
I started doing it in high school and then just kept on doing it. And now I'm trying to think, why did I do that? I have no idea.
Because
I can't
it worked.
remember. It worked.
It worked
exactly.
for you. Maddie Pinto, who came in relief for Shelby Lowe, and the 1-2 pitch is high, the whiz. Remember, it was Wiz who took advantage of that double last inning to drive home the first run for UCLA. And going to chase that one, Aubrey Lisenby had to really reach out for it. But the second out of the inning, as we take a look at today's impact players, brought to you by Visit St. Pete Clearwater. Bree Perez, who's up at the plate now at an RBI triple, and of course Holly Azevedo doing an outstanding job in the circle.
Azevedo really shouldering the load today, 4 innings pitched, only giving up 2 hits against this explosive Auburn offense. And of course, Bree Perez, one of those triple threat lefty batters in this UCLA lineup, the ability to drop a bunt and even drive that ball out to the outfield like she did earlier on in this game.
The accolades continuing to flow in for Perez, a player who just doesn't like all that attention. Just gotta push it away, but gotta get your flowers, you're just due for the excellent job that she's done on the field. Great senior class with Perez, Jordan, Wiz, and Azevedo. The 0-2, and Perez fouls it off.
Another good at-bat by Perez, too. You can see she's just in the zone, fouling off pitches, trying to get on time with that high-velocity fastball that Maddie Pinto is bringing in there.
Just reminding herself after that pitch in terms of maybe the release or where her arm was. Ball high. The pitch.
Lisenby really working hard back there for her pitcher, keeping that off speed down in the dirt in front of her. Looking back, Savannah pull over at third base to try to prevent her from scoring on some of these balls that are missing well out of the strike zone.
Perez gets that one high into the outfield, and Michaela Packer is there for the third out. We'll talk with the fifth-year head coach Mickey Dean from Auburn when we come back. Just past the bottom half of the hour from the St. Pete Clearwater Elite Invitational presented by Wilson. Madison Shipman, Tiffany Green with you in this top 25 matchup between UCLA and Auburn. And we're joined by the Tigers head coach Mickey Dean and Coach Shelby Lowe. Got a good start here and then gave up some hits and runs in that 4th inning. What have you seen out of both of your pitchers as Maddie Pinto came in relief?
We're having success when we're working ahead. Then we're able to move the ball around. UCLA is great hitters, and when you get behind and you're showing them the same stuff, they're going to have success. It's no different than any other hitters, and we just got ourselves into trouble that inning.
And Coach, you guys have been able to get runners on base, but it's come down to getting that timely hit. What do you think is the key for your offense?
We got to swing strikes. You know, we had runners on base 2 or 3 times, and you know, we started watching the ball go by, and then all of a sudden we're trying to be a 300 or 400 hit hitter with 2 strikes, and that's difficult to do. So you know, we recognize that, and we'll make the adjustment.
All right, Coach, we appreciate it, and thanks for the time.
War Eagle.
You know, in all kinds of college programs, you got to make sure you say, you know, your thing. And for Auburn, it's War Eagle. But he talked about the timely hitting and swinging at strikes, which we, you know, referenced earlier. And now you're running out of outs to work with against Azevedo. Having seen her a couple of times, what adjustments should we expect to see here?
Well, I think if you're Auburn, you have to go up there with a game plan, a certain part of the strike zone that you're looking in. We mentioned that Azevedo likes to work the ball all different quadrants of the zone. She is constantly moving it from one to the next, so she's not going to stay in one for too long. So if you have that opportunity to jump on one, you better take advantage of it. And here, starting off this inning with that off-speed pitch for strike 1, so already has the advantage in this at-bat.
And getting ahead of that one again, just as you mentioned, Madison, is Blaine out in front.
Well, I think she heard me talking about how she hadn't thrown back-to-back changeups in this game, and she said, you know what, I can do that too. And she is starting off Jessie Blaine with these back-to-back changeups. Clearly, Blaine not expecting that second one to come in there. How about 3 in a row?
Right.
3 in a row. Fire me up. I love it, that confidence that she's gaining in that pitch as this game goes on. I'm not quite sure where this one missed. Ooh.
Yeah.
That is a good-looking pitch right there.
Jessie Blaine knew it. She says, you saw the look on her face. Ooh. You know, fortunate. See that called a ball. Azevedo coming back with that one way out of the zone. 2-2.
That's one of those takes where you look back at your team, you go, guys, I knew it was a ball all the way. I had that one.
And this one is in for strike number 3, 9th of the game for Holly Azevedo, as we catch you up on Tennessee UCF. And Ashley Morgan says bye-bye to that one, pulls it out of the park, and 2-0 Lady Vols.
Morgan's one of the most underrated players on that Tennessee offense. You hear a lot about somebody like Kiki Malloy and Amanda Ayala, but it's Ashley Morgan who has just been so consistent every single season for that Lady Volunteer squad.
And where do they go in the circle? We heard Erin Edmondson getting the start today. Of course, it was already reported that Ashley Rogers, one of the elite pitchers in the country, was taken to the hospital, and they did some exploration and needing some further maybe clearance. You can give us more?
Yeah, of course, our thoughts are with Ashley Rogers. She started that first game of this tournament going up against Notre Dame and then was relieved by Erin Edmondson. And then after that was when we got word that she was taken to the hospital. But they've decided to let her rest the remainder of this weekend, get checked back out when they get back to Knoxville. But it's a big opportunity for the rest of the pitching staff for Tennessee to step up. Last year, the big question mark was who's going to be that number 2 to fill in for Ashley Rogers. And right now, this is a great opportunity to show your coaches what you've got.
It was a great graphic of Holly Azevedo at 8 strikeouts to start the season in this game. She's bested that with 9, trying to get another. The pitch, and Denver Bryant goes down swinging once more. Double digits in terms of strikeouts, and let me tell you, somebody who has tossed a lot of them is Montana Fouts. Remember, had that perfect game in the Women's College World Series, and then you go to the co-pitcher of the year in the conference in Mary Haff for Arkansas. Florida hosting the SEC tournament, and Taylor Pleasance, who we get a chance to see on our air this weekend. A lot happening within the Southeastern Conference, and pitching will be at a premium once more.
Alabama facing off against Virginia Tech at home this weekend. Another pitcher's duel that we saw out of them yesterday between Keely Rochard for Virginia Tech and, of course, Montana Fouts for Alabama. Bama ended up coming away with that one, a 1-0 victory. Double-digit strikeouts for both pitchers in that ball game.
A couple of players on the USA Softball Collegiate National Player of the Year watch list.
Speaking of Alabama,
Roll Tide.
one of the all-time Alabama greats, Kelly Kretschmann. Just such a spectacular athlete.
She would crush it. And Kinsley Washington stepping on the bag, and that is the third out. 1, 2, 3 inning for Azevedo. Still 3-0 UCLA.
UCLA's Holly Azevedo truly putting on a show out there in the circle today, moving the ball in every single quadrant of the strike zone. You've got your screwball, you've got your curveball, you've got your rise ball. Working that off speed as well to these Auburn batters, but it's been this drop ball. Look at the movement on this pitch. When it comes out of her hand, it looks like it's going to stay about belt to thigh high and just drops off the table right at the last minute. She has continued to keep these Auburn hitters guessing all game long.
Azevedo only giving up 2 hits as we take a look at today's game track, brought to you by Wilson. Again, that 4th inning, the difference in this ball game. As UCLA trying to get their first win of the weekend, and Holly Azevedo is hoping to deliver it. A couple of changes as Samantha Yarborough now in the circle for Auburn, the senior.
Yarborough is going to come in and not throw quite as hard as what we saw out of Maddie Penta. She likes to bring the ball into the mid-60s, but the key for her, again, is to change speeds early and often. You want to try to keep these UCLA batters on their toes as much as possible.
Two balls and a strike, also a defensive substitution in left field for the Tigers as Kelsey Schmidt is in the ball game now. The 2-1. And a couple of innings ago, Samantha Yarborough was getting loose via the massage therapy gun, right?
I would have loved to have one of those around back when I was playing, but doing whatever you can to get loose as quickly as possible for these pitchers. The 3rd pitcher that Auburn has thrown out there today.
Well, that was the longest, highest foul ball that we've seen today near our compound and over into the parking lot of Eisenhower Elementary, which is right next to us.
Smile on the face of Yarborough, knowing that's just a long strike.
And Brady pulling that one over to Denver Bryant, who knocks it down, but Brady is aboard safely with a leadoff single.
Nice effort by Denver Bryant at second base.
Next batter for the Bruins, number 19.
And Maya Brady
Melissa
making
Garcia.
great contact on that one. We saw her yank that ball all the way down into the parking lot the pitch before and settles back in, regroups, gets a little bit more on top of that ball and drives it hard over to second base.
And Dean coming out. Make sure everybody is all good. I think maybe Denver Bryant, who went sliding and kind of had some awkward landings here today. And she says she's all good. Heard that ball go off of her shin earlier. Taken off. Maya Brady in for her second stolen base of the game.
So much athleticism from Maya Brady, taking advantage of anything that Auburn is going to give them, getting a great jump off of first, sliding safely over into scoring position.
Alyssa Garcia sees ball 2 on the outside corner. And right now, Yarborough just want to connect with the strike zone. The pitch, and it's in there.
There's that spinning off-speed pitch that you're going to see out of Yarborough. Coming in around mid-50s, but just being able to have control and command of that pitch is key for her.
She walks Alyssa Garcia to bring up Anna Vines, who's in the 8 spot.
Aubrey Lisenby's going to take this opportunity to come out and have a chat with her pitcher. And talking to Coach Mickey Dean, he said that the key for Yarborough's success out there is that she doesn't need to try to be a power pitcher. She doesn't need to go out there and try to throw as hard as Maddie Penta, but one of the things that makes her unique on this staff is that she's different from what you're going to see out of Maddie Penta. She has all that tight spin, the change of speeds. That's what she needs to embrace out there in the circle.
We'll see what she comes back with against another lefty and Anna Vines. She's trying to locate it just outside the zone. So 2 on for Vines, who has walked and struck out. Corners playing in for Vines. As Taylor Stevens over at first base is the pinch runner for Alyssa Garcia.
It's so tough for defenses going up against this UCLA offense because so many of these lefties are triple threat lefties, so they can drop a bunt at any time, they can slap at any time, and of course they have great power behind their swings as well. We've already seen Anna Vines drive a line drive right back at Danielle Williams yesterday. A ton of speed up there as well, so you really got to be on your toes as an infield and try to look at some of the clues that batters are going to give you as that pitch is on its way in.
Vines puts this one into the air in the right field. And right now, Stevens kind of tied up. Have to pay attention, though, to Maya Brady over at third base because she could take home and does, and the runner goes back safely to first.
That was all part of the plan, all part of UCLA's plan to bring another run across the board for the Bruins. You can see Anna Vines hitting this one out to right field, both runners tagging up, and Stevens getting caught in between here. So now we find ourselves in a first and third situation, doing a nice job of staying in that rundown. The key for the defense right there is to switch into that first and third mentality. So as a shortstop, you want to keep your eyes on that runner at third at all times. And as soon as you see her break to home, fire that thing over.
She already had 1 bunt single, and guess what? Kelly Gooden's got another. So just 1 out in the inning. Could have registered perhaps a second. Instead, UCLA scores another run.
Next batter for
and
the
another
Bruins, number 37, Kinsley
on
Washington.
base as Kelly Gooden gets the bunt single.
UCLA just continuing to put pressure on this defense in different ways, both up at the plate and on the base paths as well, stealing bases, taking advantage of any extra base that Auburn is going to give them.
And that's the thing that Coach Inoue Perez talked to us about, is that's what she likes about what her team is offering up this season, a lot more balanced in different ways, as you said, to put on that pressure. But there is the power that also packs the pressure. A 3-run shot for Kinsley Washington. Back-to-back days, home runs off the bat, and she gets tossed the gum all the way to home.
You could feel that pressure building up, and Kinsley Washington coming up to the plate and taking advantage of it. Such quick hands, such an explosive swing. She just turns on this pitch. A credit to her teammates for putting that pressure on Samantha Yarborough leading up to this pitch, forcing Yarborough to have to think a little bit more, try to place this pitch just a little bit sweeter, leaves it right there over the plate, and Washington just crushes it over that right field wall.
It was some form of candy, gum, Jolly Rancher, whatever it is. It's been passed over. And I like the in-team tradition that they have, as Kirk Walker just flipped it up to her around in third.
Can we put on our sheets too the athleticism that it takes and the hand-eye coordination that it takes to be able to catch that as you're rounding third base?
We've seen perfect connections, right? So Jordan with a long toss to the plate to Wiz, and then Walker to Washington as she's moving. A 3-0 count to Savannah Pola. Taking all the way.
Pola back up after starting off this inning. Excuse me, starting off last inning with that double down the left field line. Showing that power to all fields already. So much strength in her swing as well.
She stands in, she's ready. Full count. Yarborough delivers, and this one is into right field, and there is no doubt about that one off the bat of Savannah Pola.
Savannah Pola.
Back-to-back home runs for the Bruins. Another toss of the candy, and all smiles as she's greeted by Jordan and passes it over.
Already showing such great versatility from the freshman. We mentioned she is spraying the ball all over the field, takes this inside pitch and just turns on it, blasting it into the tent over there beyond the right field fence. Starts jogging immediately because she knows that one was a no-doubter. Go ahead and toss her that candy, rounding third base. Savannah Pola already making a name for herself within this UCLA program.
It always brings about great smiles and jolly. That's really appropriate there.
Pun intended. I like it.
Yeah.
But we're really seeing that pass the bat mentality translate on the field for UCLA against Auburn today. That's something that they practice back in California. They have these competitions. They're trying to create that pressure, create that competition environment. And they'll have a last Bruin standing. And you have to hit the ball square off of Kirk Walker. And one of the best parts about that is if you're not able to get it done, your teammate behind you can save you, can bring you back into the game. And Coach Inoue Perez said that it's created this really fun, competitive atmosphere within this UCLA team.
is doing things like that, and every coach is going to try to come up with something, but that's helped to breathe the championship mentality and keep that confidence going from season to season. UCLA is a program that is an absolute blue blood, won the most national championships, NCAA titles coming in at a dozen. And again, there was an awakening there in the 4th inning after being pretty dormant through the first 3.
Well, it's just all about those adjustments, trying to figure out what they needed to do up at the plate to knock out Shelby Lowe, the starter for Auburn.
Oh my, this one got a hold of it and off center field. I think that's a home run. That one goes off. There we go. There's that Jolly Rancher team coming at the full bat. Everybody's loving it. The stand out in center field.
Yeah, a bit of confusion as she was rounding the bases because it hit off of the stairs over there in center field. So Aaliyah Jordan kept running around the bases thinking that ball was still in play, and she just unloads on this pitch. A little bit up in the zone, takes her hand straight to it, and yep, definitely a home run. Immediately, the umpire at second base signaled that it was a home run. But how about the catch as she's running down the base path, the long distance Jolly Rancher throw, the one-handed catch to just finish it off.
This is taking a life of its own here in the 6th inning, as UCLA trying to put it completely out of reach. Of course, Auburn does have the opportunity to come back and bat in this 6th inning, as they are the home team on the scoreboard. If they aren't able to get it across, then this one will end in a run rule.
But what a confidence boost for this UCLA offense as well. We mentioned they're trying to bounce back from that loss to Oklahoma, going up against a really tough freshman pitcher in Jordy Ball. And then yesterday facing Danielle Williams, who had a stellar performance in the circle. So you got to imagine that it's giving them a ton of energy and confidence, knowing that their offense can explode at any time, as we've seen in today's ball game.
Away by Wiz. That 4th inning, just the change for this UCLA team, who is showing everybody in the country just how tough they can be to beat, and getting an excellent outing today from Holly Azevedo. So for those of you maybe tuning in to check out BC and Syracuse men's basketball, that's currently over on ESPN News right now. Meanwhile, we have seen an unleashing of power here in this 6th inning from UCLA, and finally, after back-to-back home runs from the Bruins, the batter is retired.
Yarborough's just got to continue to concentrate on attacking that strike zone, keeping the ball down in the zone to induce some ground balls. Coach Mickey Dean coming out. Looks like to go ahead and grab that watch that was on her wrist.
Just past noon Eastern here from Clearwater. Madison Shipman, Tiffany Green with you And we start off the day with UCLA and Auburn. A couple of other games in action. As Tennessee taking on UCF. Northwestern going against Clemson. And this one on the ground and ending the inning, the 5-3 put out, but not before. It was UCLA exploding in this inning.
UCLA with the back-to-back-to-back home runs. They're up 9-0.
St. Pete Clearwater Elite Invitational, presented by Wilson, is brought to you by Visit St. Pete Clearwater, Florida, and Wilson Fast Pitch, leaders in softball innovation.
Ogunbowale for the win! National champion!
Dynasty fulfills its destiny.
The great upset in history!
Welcome back to the 2022 St. Pete Clearwater Elite Invitational, presented by Wilson.
Leading off for the Tigers, number 10.
Here's
Michaela
how
Packer.
things have shaken out thus far as we move to the bottom of the 6th inning. Auburn down to their final 3 outs. Run rule in effect here as Lauren Shaw is in the circle, a new face after Holly Azevedo did a great job.
Now, Lauren Shaw, the transfer from Iowa, coming into this game. She's a crafty lefty. She likes to throw that curveball, screwball, and that drop ball. Also has an off speed that she'll bring in there as well. Talking to Coach Inouye Perez, one of her strengths that she brings in the circle is her ability to pound the strike zone, but also one of her weaknesses is being able to pound the strike zone. So for her, it's figuring out that fine line between bringing the ball into that zone but not leaving it too sweet.
New catcher behind the plate as well, the freshman Jayla Castro. And the swing sends it in to center field for Maya Brady. And out number 1, Holly Azevedo, who had a career high in strikeouts today, had touched 8 a few times before, but this one is a career best for the senior.
I just thoroughly enjoyed watching how she was constantly changing her game plan against these batters, knowing that Auburn likes to step up to the box, being very aggressive, utilize that off speed early in the game, but then really started to use it as the game went on, sprinkling in that drop ball in there as well. Really deceptive, really hard for these batters to pick up on.
Our pitching coach, Lisa Fernandez, has to be pleased with the outing thus far. And there's our head coach, Kelly Perez, talked about how important she is going to be and how much they're going to need her this season as her role has increased and will increase throughout the year. The pitch from Shaw. And if you're the Tigers, who started out this tournament 3-0 and had some really hot bats, they were quieted here today. Just 2 hits on the ball game. You're Mickey Dean, you're going back and saying, okay, well, look, we had some opportunities, we had some chances, just didn't come up with those timely hits.
If I'm Coach Mickey Dean, I'm not walking away from this game being too discouraged, but definitely some room to improve for this Auburn offense. You mentioned them just coming in red hot, blasting the ball all over the field. And even today, those opportunities, getting runners all the way over to third base, it just comes down to being able to execute that timely hit or putting the ball in play, stringing together those productive at-bats, productive outs to bring across those runs.
Sydney Cox battling here. Two balls, 2 strikes to the third baseman. And way off, for that one. 46 miles per hour. Lauren Shaw, first K of the game. And down to their final out as FSU playing a little hacky sack, getting ready to take the field here after this one concludes. They'll face off against 16th ranked Michigan over on the ACC network.
Elia Peralta.
A much improved ACC conference, or ACC. And the check swing rolls down the first baseline, and that ends the ball game. A 9-0 decision after 6-4 UCLA, and what an excellent job they did late to come alive.
A really great team victory. We got to see fantastic pitching in the circle by Holly Azevedo, but then the bats truly coming alive. What a way to bounce back after that heartbreaking walk-off victory for Northwestern yesterday.
UCLA will take the field once more. You can find it right here on ESPNU at about 4 o'clock Eastern against Texas, as Aaliyah Jordan, Kinsley Washington among the home run participants for this group. 9-0 for Madison Shipman. I'm Tiffany Green. Join us later, of course, for Michigan, Florida State at 1 over on the ACC network. All games for this weekend on our ESPN networks. We'll say so long for now, but back for more on our ESPN networks.